The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 30th day of June, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical Health, One Communications, and Lindos. I'm Jamel Hartman. She, Sherry Vanderpool, and Leanna Lambert will be the, excuse me, Leanna Lambert, I'm juicing today, I'm sorry. Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sherry, why are you laughing?
Because it's like you just caught something real quick. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
I'm doing this juicing thing again for the next 3 days, so.
oh gosh, I can be grumpy. Like juicing all day.
Yeah.
And the carbs and the protein.
Yeah.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah. You all call me all the names you want, grumpy, all that stuff. That's right. That's I'm doing it for me. And if you all want to, I'm built. Look, I'm so used to you all calling me names that this is my savior. This is my salvation.
Well, I hope the audience is going to send you great energy
Absolutely.
for those who are going to be around you for the next few days.
Yeah. Well, see, I have to do it. I'm home alone for another 3 days, so I have to do it then when people are not in the house cooking all this nice smelling food and it's just
home alone.
Yeah.
Sounds about right, Macaulay.
Yeah. We ain't got no burglars. They ain't brave enough or crazy enough to come by, but I'm him alone. But anyway, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today, as we welcome. You know what? I came up a new term. Tell me if you like this. Authorpreneur.
Oh, I like that.
Authorpreneur. I think I came up with it myself. I haven't seen it. Well, authorpreneur Shambrekia Wise. She's coming on the show, as well as director of marketing. She's got Serena Weigel with us. So. Good conversation, and folks, just Google her. It's a really cool story. What she's doing with her daughter, and I'll let her tell the rest. But it's just cool. It's a really cool thing, and I think we'll get a lot out of this. The Daily Play is a name that place.
Oh gosh, there goes the streak.
What, your 1 day streak?
No, I'm 2 for 3.
2 or 3. Well, what you missed Monday and got the other 2?
I got Monday, I missed Tuesday, and I got yesterday.
But streaks are usually consistent, not miss 1 day and.
I didn't say streaks. I said I'm 2 for 3.
What'd you say?
I said.
What'd you say before that?
I'm on a winning streak. Yeah.
No, you ain't on a winning streak.
Whatever. We will see what happens today.
All right. All right, folks. Look, despite Sherry trying to act like she's on a streak, we've got some important things to discuss. A lot going on. Look, inflation's inflation. It's gonna inflation, whether we inflation with it or not. Inflation's just gonna inflation. We've got to find a way to deal with it. But one of the things that I keep coming across, Sherry, I don't know if you've come across it, is companies and remote work and policies of companies. I think it was Yelp recently. They went fully remote for their staff. I think that's the company that it was. But I have some challenges with it. I have a lot of challenges with it. One of those challenges that I have is a lot of people, and I get the convenience of remote work. I do. I get that it gives you more time to, do stuff. It saves on gas and so on. But is there a balance, Sherry? Is there a balance in terms of are companies helping people pay for their electricity and their internet, things of that nature? Because at the end of the day, if you're home more, especially if it's a hot place right now, what are you going to do? Turn your air conditioner
Right.
on.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the winter months, if it's really cold at home, then you're going to do what? Put your heater up more, right? So it does impact personal uh, finances if you're working at home. So I guess the question of the morning is, do you believe organizations that enforce remote work should pay towards electricity and internet bills? What are your thoughts on that? Or do you think, no, this is something that people should just appreciate and rock with it? What are your thoughts?
Um, I I think it's a little bit of both, right? So with the gas prices that are going on right now, the balance may work out for what it is. Um, and it just all depends in regard to the packages that you have going on in your home, but the main one being Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
If you can look at your package and see what you have and be able to balance that out, I don't think it's such a bad idea in regards to what the organization can offer, because I feel like it's so many different benefits. I wouldn't oppose to them giving a little incentive in regards to those items throughout, but should they have to pay for it? I don't think so. Um, like I said, with gas right now,
What if they're enforcing it? Like, let's say, for the most part, I think a lot of employees are asking for remote work. But if a company is enforcing it, if they're saying, like you look on LinkedIn right now and you see a lot of jobs, they're remote jobs. Are any of these companies, and I don't know because I'm not applying for any, but are any of
mhm.
these companies offering to pay some of the people who they're employing in these positions their internet or utility bills? Like, I would think it's fair. No, I mean, gas prices fluctuate.
Yeah, and definitely, is it fair? Yes. Who's going to turn down some monies towards bills? Is it something that I'm looking at that they have to do? Not particularly, not for me.
Mm,
Not at this time. I'm provided with a computer. I'm provided with the screen. Provided with a number of things to actually do the job as well. Wi-Fi would be my biggest thing. If they're gonna pay towards something, I would do for a little bit of Wi-Fi monies. But the convenience of everything else, I was listening to a meeting, prepping my meal for last night. It's
mm.
like those kind of things are beneficial to the whole process as well.
What are your thoughts, audience? What do you think? Do you believe that organizations, that the ones that enforce remote work, should pay towards electricity, internet bills? Well, it reminds me of school teachers a bit, Sherry. Like school teachers paying for their own supplies and so on. And let's use the Bermuda context when, I mean, let's be honest, people were locked down for ages in 2020, right?
Hmm.
Government encouraging companies not to make people come into the office. And people, you didn't see them complaining much because they felt freedom being able to work from home, many people. But then consciously, are you not thinking of the electricity and you're using your own internet? Yeah, you got a laptop, but that laptop's not for personal use. It's for
Right.
work, right? Now, at home, what's your normal bill versus when you're home working? Do you see a difference? I think that's something to take into consideration. At the end of the
Definitely.
day, and furthermore, we have to remember not everyone actually has internet at home. I
That
know
is
we think,
true.
I know we believe, I know we have this thought and idea. It's like TV. Growing up, if you had a TV, you assumed everyone else had a TV at home.
You're
Everyone doesn't have this.
You're right, Jamal. You're right about that. I remember those days.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts, audience? Do you believe organizations that enforce remote work should pay towards electricity and internet bills? Sherry says, no, I am on the side of yes. Now, keep in mind, I've had jobs, and the reason I'm on the side of yes, I've had jobs who have actually done that. I've had jobs that pay gas mileage if you're going somewhere
Yeah.
for work and so on. So I don't see how it's any different if I'm using my vehicle to go somewhere. for work and you're paying toward my gas, if I'm using my home to do the work, then it's only fair that you pay towards my electricity and my internet.
Mm-hmm.
Graham Smith says paid car parking in Hamilton is more than $100 a month.
Mercy.
Yikes.
Mercy. I've heard about $250 a month for parking.
See, now, okay.
Outside of town. Not even.
I don't know what it is in New York City, but I remember working in New York. One day was like $40-something. I mean, minimum back. We're talking 10 years ago. So, I mean, I guess his point is a company can say, well, we're saving you gas and parking, right?
Mm.
They can say that. And when you come to work, we don't pay for your gas and parking. So why is it you're working from home? You want us to pay for your electricity and your internet?
Point.
I mean, it's a balancing act. It is, but it's saying again, at home, you're using your internet, your electricity. I don't know. This is a tough one, Bermuda. This is a tough one because, as usual, Cher's on the side of sin, and I'm on the other side.
No, I really think, and maybe you have to add other people to that. If you live by yourself, it may be a little bit more controllable. It depends on, I think, the size of the family, how many people are working from home, and all of those things have to be taken into consideration to even see if it does make a dent in things. But there has to be a comparison in the two. But should they? I don't know. I think it all depends on your situation.
You know what, Sherry? And I'm not trying to like make light, but I didn't realize how much not having to pay for parking to go to work makes a difference. Like, think about it. If it costs you to go to work, parking, like you drive far, commute, gas, that literally is like your salary gone, like some of your salary. I could not imagine. I don't think I would be able to take, unless you'd have to be paying me crazy money for me to pay to park to go to work every day. That's insane to me. Traveling Trotty says, yes, as the company is saving money on electricity and supplies such as hand towels, etc. There you go. When you're home, you're using the bathroom, you're using your own supplies. I mean, it makes sense to me. Makes sense.
And true, and especially when you say you have to be forced into doing it. So it is all of those things that you have to take into consideration. Me, Jamal, and Bermuda, when I did work, I was one of those people who parked and got a ticket because I felt like the ticket at the end of the day cost less than paying for parking a month. But things are changing. I used to wait for a summons to come in the mail and
So she was a parking criminal, folks. She just took the ticket. She's like, look, I can't afford to pay for this. So just hit me. But doesn't that end up costing you more if you always get tickets?
Well, the system had changed and I didn't receive summonses in the mail.
Okay. Sam Cat Place wants to talk to you.
Excuse me, why? When you're home, act like you're at work and scrimp. You are saving on gas and parking, plus not buying lunch. The stress of going in also saved. Now that sounds entitled.
She goes on to say, besides that, there are times you go into the office, so supplies are still being used in the office. I remote a few days, and it's lovely. Flexibility is cost in of itself. No, if you go in, that's not remote, that's hybrid. There's a difference. We must make that clear. Remote people don't go into an office. I think we need to make that distinction, folks.
Yes, and we actually had a meeting about that yesterday. There is a distinct difference. Hybrid is that you have to be in the office 3 days out of the week.
Correct.
When you were remote, you kind of go as you please or as needed. So I'm considered remote. I go in maybe once a week if I need to. If not, then I'm not in.
Yeah, but some remotes actually don't have physical office locations. Like most
Yes.
remotes don't have physical office locations.
Mm-hmm.
What you're doing can still be considered remote if you have access to an office, though. So, I mean, sorry, could still be considered hybrid if you still have access to an office. Graham Smith, he says the highest parking I've seen is $330 a month. My goodness. Really? That's a car payment, man. Michelle White says, I work for myself. Mine was lower, but I work for myself and only go into the office once a week. I have noticed too much of an increase in my household expenses, electricity, etc. Balances out with saving gas, bus fare, lunch, etc.
She said, I have not noticed.
She has not noticed, sorry. Sean Smith says remote workers can work from the local coffee shop, beach, etc., and use that business's free internet. You get the work-life balance.
I like that, Sean. And some people do that.
Well, I mean, remote work. I mean, depending on the company, you can go anywhere you want. What's those people called? Digital nomads?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go where you want. I mean, but
driving up the apartment prices.
Yeah. That's what they do. That's what they do. But no. Much love to the people that are out there doing it. Sam Cat plays for you, Sherry.
Either way, even if you are remote full-time, you are saving money and getting paid salary and benefits. What is that? I know. Where these lot of park at Bull's Head and walk $5 a day.
See, Sam Cat Place is bringing the solutions to you all, talking about $330. She's like, I don't know where you all's parking, but I'm got my $5 a day, multiplied up however many times she chooses to go to work on her remote schedule. But that said, Sam Cat Place, it could be entitlement. Again, every organization is different. There are some organizations that will pay your health insurance for you. There are some that won't ever consider doing that. Every organization is different based on what they give you. So I wouldn't necessarily say entitled. I personally, I will always say, treat yourself by how you value yourself. Because regardless of what any other employer gives you, they'll probably never value you the way you should be valued or you believe that what you're worth. So yeah, it's tough for me in that space. Traveling Trotty says, however, government says we have to work from Bermuda. So
really?
I guess she's saying that remote work is only if you're staying within Bermuda. Interesting, because I know some companies will say, you can work remote, but from anywhere in the world, but you have to be available during our normal work hours. So if you were in Australia and you're, I don't know the time difference.
Yeah, I got you.
You get me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you'll have to be up in the early hours, the AM hours, if your company in New York is open during that time. So I don't get the whole, as long as you're available, that should be it. That's the point.
Wherever you are.
Yeah, that's the point of it, right?
Definitely.
So, consensus-wise, Sherry, it seems like many people don't believe that people should be paid, their electricity and internet bills should be paid by their company for remote work. That's what I'm getting from this morning.
And that's what I get as well. I think you save in other areas, and I think it all balances out at the end of it. So for me, it's I think everyone should be good with that.
You think everybody should be good with it?
Yeah, you included. Do you get yours paid?
Well, I don't work remote.
Ah, okay.
I'm
hybrid.
Yeah, but I sure get gas paid.
I get gas as well.
Graham Smith says, suburbanization of the whole island versus high-rise urban development, where people can walk to work, has created an inefficient and high carbon footprint, wasteful economy. So in order to get people to reduce that, working from home could be a benefit, right?
Definitely.
I definitely think working from home could reduce, we speak about the environment and climate often, but we don't even speak about the benefits it has. And saying that, I just want to say before we bring Leanna in, the last Bermudian to be elected as an independent, do you know who that is, Sherry?
No, I have a name, but I'm not sure.
Well, the last Bermudian to be elected as an independent in 1989, the year of my sister's birth. That was Steuart Haywood. And according to the front page of the Royal Gazette today, Mr. Haywood, known as an environmentalist and an activist, has passed away. I believe at 80 years old. Yep, Steuart Haywood. So I just want to say, I learned a lot from Mr. Haywood. I tell you, when we were fighting conscription and I was working at Hot 1075, and I called Mr. Haywood. And I've shared this story on the show before. I called him and I said, why you care more about trees than people? I mean, you know me, my nature, folks. I'm the same with everybody. Like I tell you all, if you saw the way I communicated with, and Premier Paula Cox kind of called me out on it when she was on the show, but her, Dr. Brown, Canada, Dunkley, Bert, like I literally take that example, the example we were given about treat the janitor the same as the CEO. That is me. Seriously, there's no difference. So Mr. Haywood, in his calm demeanor, he says, well, Mr. Hartman, no, you have your fight, I have mine. The same way how you're not speaking up for the environment, it doesn't mean that I disagree with what you're fighting for, but this is what I'm focused on. It doesn't mean that you haven't, well, I didn't have any interest in the environment, but but he said, it's not like you're against what we're speaking up for, but it's not what's top of mind. And I learned so much from that conversation that not everyone who supports you is going to make your battle a priority.
Yeah, definitely.
Not what you're focused on. And it was a lesson. It was a lesson and something that I've seen other people who have taken fights up. They think that just because people are not out front with them fighting, that these are the worst people in the world and they're enemies and so on. And I am grateful to Mr. Steuart Haywood for even taking my call, knowing how, I was well, I still am. Sorry, I'm not was, but still am. But appreciate him and a life well lived and condolences to his family and friends. And I think I speak for many Bermudians when we say we appreciate his contribution to Bermuda as a whole. And yes, Steuart Haywood, Mr. Haywood was the last person in Bermuda elected to the House of Assembly as an independent. Let's bring Leanna into the conversation. See if Lee has an answer. Do you believe that organizations that enforce remote work should pay towards electricity and internet bills? And maybe later on we'll do another giveaway. It's giveaway. Yeah, end of June.
You have giveaway weekend. You're just
she ain't said nothing to me yet. She ain't said I'm just gonna do it this week. And then she hasn't said anything. You all know I get yelled at. I got yelled at first. Good morning, Lee. How you doing?
Good morning, Jamal. You are giving me Oprah energy today. You get one, and you get one, and you get one.
Yeah, Lee girl. Oh yeah, Lee girl.
But you see, I'm looking at his shoulder.
I haven't gotten in trouble for giving away the house yet, Lee. I haven't.
Let's not do that. Do that.
No,
One step too far. But I'm loving this energy this morning on this last day of June.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Sherry, sorry, your birthday month is.
That's okay. It's coming to an end, but it's been a good one.
It's been a good one.
That's all
that matters.
We enter into cup match season. Come tomorrow.
Just want you to know that's the last of any shades of pink that you will see going forward. That's it. It's going to be blue.
What can I say?
Shades of blue.
I had a New Year's resolution that I won't talk any junk. Because I've had my ass handed to me over the last 10 years. Right?
Too many times.
Yeah. And I said I won't talk any crap regarding the red and blue people and so on. And I've kept that. But July 1st happens tomorrow.
Yeah, it does.
My New Year's resolutions usually last 6 months. 6 months. And I'm gonna try. But with Sherry such an agitator.
And I got backup this year.
In his house.
She just pokes the bear. It's her nature. Yeah, she just, So
look at that arrogant smirk.
See,
don't you throw something at your screen?
Yeah. So it's okay, Jamal. If you forfeit on your resolution, come tomorrow. No judgment over here. No judgment whatsoever.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it.
Most welcome.
You should do my name in red.
Anyway, moving on.
Lee, you ready for the news break?
I am, but just to answer your question
Oh,
before we
right.
were rudely interrupted by that
Yes.
statement,
Yeah.
I do absolutely believe that companies, if you're forced to work from home, some sort of compensation should be included in ensuring that internet bills and electricity bills, because like you said, at the end of the day, you're utilizing, what's being afforded to you in your home. So companies should absolutely
Thank you, Lee.
give you an allowance
You were
towards
getting
it.
fun, at least in studio. Your audience may disagree, but hey, one over here. Over to you, Lee.
Thanks, Jamal and Sherry, and good morning to everyone that's tuned in with us today. I hope everyone is having a great start to this thankful Thursday, and as we say, at the final day of June. I'm Liana Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Well, traffic was brought to a standstill in the West End following a serious crash in the Scour Hill area of Sands Parish yesterday afternoon. Now, police say that details regarding the circumstances of the crash and the injuries sustained are anticipated in due course. However, unofficial reports at the scene speculate that at least one person was taken to hospital. Now, officers diverted motorists away from the crash via the railway trail. Inquiries into the incident continue, and any witnesses are encouraged to call 211. In other news, health officials have announced that there have been 2 more COVID-related deaths, pushing the island's toll since the start of the pandemic to 140. Now, there were 205 new cases recorded in the latest test results, with 5 people in hospital, but no one in the intensive care unit. Offering her condolences to the loved ones of those who have lost their lives, Health Minister Kim Wilson said that although the island currently has 229 active coronavirus cases, it is believed that the number of people infected was in fact higher, attributing unknown figures to at-home positive results as the data cannot be collected. Now, she said that the data shows an increasing number of persons entering the islands as they are testing positive on arrival, and warns that the pandemic is not over. Residents are reminded that when traveling, take precautions, follow public health guidance, and you should diligently try to avoid catching the virus. Meanwhile, BF&M Limited might be up for sale. A report notes that the domestic insurer, one of the largest on the island, has initiated a review of the strategic alternatives to maximize shareholder value, which may include the sale of the company. Now, the initiative has apparently risen out of discussions involving the company and its principal 37.4% shareholder, Camilla PLC. Now, BF&M today said that the board of directors has established a special committee headed by John White, Group Chairman and CEO. Now, it will include independent directors, Jennifer Reynolds and Anthony Joe Quinn, to oversee the strategic review. Now, to assist the process, the special committee has already retained a Canadian investment banking firm. And in sports news, we are congratulating athletes' accomplishments, after West Ham United announced that Bermuda's Nathan Trott has signed a contract extension until the end of summer of 2024 with a further 2-year option. Now, the club's announcement said that the England under-20 international goalkeeper, who made his first team debut for the Hammers in the Emirates FA Cup third-round win over Doncaster Rovers at London Stadium in January 2021, will continue his development under the guidance of Javi Valero and alongside experienced senior stoppers Alfonso, Darren Randolph, and Lucazes. I believe I said that right. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 83 and a low near 77 degrees. It is a bright morning, a bright start to this Thursday morning with a light southerly breeze and a chance of an early shower. A weak front will fragment during its approach from the north, bringing increases to cloud cover at times, especially later today. Now, while the chance of a shower or two cannot be ruled out, An overall brighter, drier, and less humid trend will follow from Friday as high pressure gains strength over the Western Atlantic. That's all for our Daily Hour news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Now let's head back to Jamal and Sherry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
All right. Thanks so much for that, Lee. Sherry, what you've got for us, sister?
Today is Social Media Day.
Oh, gosh.
First, there was the telephone, then the fax machine, and then social media, a revolutionary way of communicating. Since its creation, people have been able to contact with each other like never before. Friends and family can contact at any moment, and marketers have been able to reach consumers in an entirely new fashion. In fact, people use social media for an average of 144 minutes every single day. Because of its impact society over the years, social media was born on June 30th and has continued to grow in popularity ever since.
Yeah, it's caused.
I know Jamal uses those 144 minutes every day.
Nah, I hate Instagram. You all know that. I don't have much love for TikTok. You all know that. I use Twitter more than anything to stay up to date with sports. That's why I'm on there. And Facebook, got your grannies and your moms and your aunties and all this. That's my hobby, folks. Seriously.
It's amazing how Facebook has like transformed into the older generation's use of social media. Am I not allowed to say that?
No, it's true.
Okay. I'm sure its face was like, don't you dare, Liana.
Because it's just interesting on how it has transformed into these different generational areas, right?
Thank you.
So I just have a love-hate relationship with social media, period, across the board.
Same.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm okay with my LinkedIn. I'll stay where I'm comfortable. That's my space. But honestly, I love social media for what it's been able to do for people in terms of entrepreneurs, and like from that standpoint, I absolutely love the ability to go directly to people, direct to market.
Yes.
I don't like what it's done mentally to young people. I think it's been something that has really broken a generation rather than inspired a generation. And so I think when I think of it in a broad spectrum, and we're talking older people on Facebook too, there are people that, Sherry, in your career, trauma, like that trauma that they faced as children and as young adults, they express it daily on there. So my hope is that as we speak about social media and all the good that it does, is we create the same way we created social media courses in school. We create psychological, mental spaces, social courses to deal with the impact, the negative impact that social media has.
Of course, because there's also addiction that's affiliated with social media, right? That's what actually was a new addiction. It wasn't, the hard drugs or anything like that. Social media became that.
Yeah. Gaming, alcohol, and now social media. Lee? Wow. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Friday, so yep.
All righty. Liana Lambert, folks, doing the Sherry Shake. No, it was the Liana what?
The Liana Twist.
It's the Liana Twist.
Liana Twist. All right. Still ain't got nothing on the hop and hop. See you tomorrow. All right, folks. We've got some special guests coming up next. Speaking of entrepreneur, I said authorpreneur. That's right. I'm calling that. Let me copyright trademark that before Charlemagne the God tries to take it from me. Authorpreneur. She's coming up. You don't want to miss it, right? Stick with us, and we'll be right back after this. Sherry will be here too.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors And not to mention the support docking.
Karen, Miss Salter sped her bed again.
Oh gosh, these days I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's. Next level. Why go anyplace else?
Welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Linda's, and People's Pharmacy. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to our website so you don't miss a chance for updates, promotions, prizes, and more. Also, if you're on the go and can't watch, that's okay. Download the BCG radio app available for Android and Apple devices. You can listen to us every single time we go live. I'm laughing. I'm going to tell you why I'm laughing. You all are going to. So, I try to own the term entrepreneur. Well, someone decided to send me a text. I'm not going to call them out. A certain CEO decided to send me a text saying, sorry, says, entrepreneurs apply, and this is from December 29th, 2017. So I got beaten by almost 5 years. Entrepreneurs apply entrepreneurial skills and mindset to making a sustainable and ongoing living as an author publisher. They have learned how to promote, market, sell, and profit from their writing, not as a one-off, but through the dedicated application of one of 10 possible business models. So I am sad to report that I didn't coin the term as I was trying to claim. And folks, I know. You thought I was just that brilliant guy. I know.
That person shut you right on.
Yeah. One thing about this audience is they're gonna let me have it. They're gonna keep me in check. Got to stop giving my number out to people. But anyway, let's bring in our guest for the day. We got Shambrekia and Serena in the house. Welcome, ladies. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I thought I came up with something cool today. I thought I had it, and
he thinks it's special.
It's been floating in the air. It's definitely been floating in the air. So.
Yeah. Well, ladies, welcome. First off, you're up pretty early. You're both based in Central Time Zone, right?
We're in Texas, literally about 2 miles away from each other. We're in Dallas, Texas.
Well,
I used to live there.
Around Sherry, I mean, obviously way before your day, but she went to high school there and middle school, Sherry?
I went high school. I went to Lake Islands High School.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Not far from Lake Highlands at all, actually.
Okay. Well, hey, Dallas, one of my favorite cities. I mean, we could skip those 3-digit temperatures, but anyway, thank you. Thank you both for coming. Obviously, I've been a fan, and just to give you all some context and background, I've been a fan of what you're doing, and I'll allow you to tell your story because I can do that very well. But just tell the audience a bit. You've been on this show before. You were actually one of the first guests on this show. Many people, if you remember, if you've been riding with the Daily Hour from jump, folks, you would remember Shambrekia. But just tell people. What is Sightseeing with Sandy all about, and where did the idea come from?
So Sightseeing with Sandy is a platform that my little girl and I have co-created, and it takes children and families all across the world, and we teach geography, we teach history, culture, and just everything that you can learn about a place within a small little book that looks kind of like this. And we have all types of fun things in there. They always meet new people and new friends, and we always have like really cool activities at the end of each book for kids to participate in with either by themselves or their family or a sibling or a friend or what have you. And we also have recipes that are economically sound. So every child can potentially make this, recipe, whatever it may be. It may be a fruit salad or maybe punch or something like that. But it just gives them an opportunity to kind of experience like a cultural aspect of, an island or a country that they may have never gone to or seen before. So yeah, that's pretty much what we do. And especially in COVID, it was really great to be able to do something like that, so kids could see the world without, potentially being exposed. And now with prices going through the roof, it's also an economic way for, parents to be conscious of trying to educate their kids, but not breaking the bank while doing so.
And where did the idea come from? Because I remember, hearing, I've seen you speak in many spaces, and one of the things, correct me if I'm wrong, is, Black people are just really beginning to explore the world. And I know if I remember correctly, you were saying you wanted your daughter to kind of share with other young children who may not travel about travel and how they can experience things. I have a quote I often say: grow beyond your environment. And I think that's what she's learning and she's sharing. But just speak about where the idea came from.
It came from her. We were traveling to LA for a business roundtable that I had gotten invited to, actually, for the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. I am a patient as well as an advocate for MS. And I said, you know what, after my diagnosis with MS, I promised myself I was going to live life and teach her to do the same. And one of the things I wanted to do with her was travel. And so I said, you know what, they're paying for mommy. Let mommy pay for you. Come through. So we turned it into a vacation, and we had so much fun. But even before we touched down in California, Sandy made her little presence known on that plane. Like, when she started seeing all the people come in after us, she's looking, she's like, "Are we on the right plane?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "We are. It said California." She's like, No. There are no Black people on this plane. I'm like, "Stop talking right now." And I was mortified because she has no filters in life. And Serena has met her before, and Serena can attest to that. But the child wasn't wrong. I think maybe there was one family on that plane with a small Black child. And she was like, there's nobody that looks like us on here. And there are hardly any kids on this plane. Like, why aren't kids traveling? And so I made her be quiet, and I threatened her livelihood. And I said, "Don't say another word till we get off this plane and talk." And so the white couple in front of us, they were older. They're like, "But she has a good point." I'm like, "Y'all are not helping. Like, let me take care of this."
No, so, I mean, that's an awesome story.
It was legit. It was legit. And I never shut her down. I'm never that parent that's like, because I said so, because she's brilliant. She really and truly is. But I'm still learning how to try to teach her to be a little bit more filtered, TBD when that's actually going to happen. But she makes you think, and she makes you really be aware of what is wrong, because she's so unbiased, and she's so fair, and she has a really great heart. So when I explained to her the economic disparities and people not having time, or even just the physical abilities to travel for whatever reason, she's like, "Well, that's not fair, and you got to fix it because you fix everything." And I'm like, "Where did this come from?" And I was like, "That's sweet, but that's a lot." And so her thought was to first take everybody on a vacation. I'm like, "Your name is not Buffett, Gates, we not a Winfrey. Like, I'm gonna need you to come up with a whole different idea." And she said, "Well, I like cartoons. I learned a lot of stuff on cartoons." I was like, "Not an animator, but let's pin that." And so the third thing was books, because she loves books. She loved to see pictures in books. And she said, "I like reading, and I think other kids would like it if you have pictures. Are you too old to write a children's book?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Well, you should write a children's book." So she's so insulting. Like, I have to be rich because nobody's going to hire her. And if they hire her, she's going to get fired.
She sounds like a little Jamal. Like,
say that's my cousin there, because I don't, I can
be named Jamaica.
I can appreciate her. I think she's my kind of sister. But I want to, Serena. Obviously, I've been following Shambrekia for about 2 years, just over 2 years, right? Where do you come in? What and your role in helping to market this, and what made you believe in it as much as she and Sandy?
Yeah, so I am currently a rising sophomore at SMU, Southern Methodist University, and I'm double majoring in marketing and fashion media. And I had gotten an email to submit my resume for a resume book. And I looked into the job, and I kind of got a glimpse into what Sightseeing with Sandy was. So I was like, okay, sure. So I submitted my resume, and then Shambrekia and I got in touch, and I learned a lot more about what Sightseeing with Sandy was. And it was just a really cool opportunity. I was just a freshman last year when I started, or back in February. And I just couldn't not do it because it was so unique, so different. I've grown up as a minority too, and so just the recognition for that disparity, I wanted to be a part of it.
Awesome, awesome. And Sean, I hear you speaking and sharing the story about your daughter, but why is this whole entire venture so important to you?
Honestly, Jamel, if I had to tell you Sham's ultimate end goal for everything, it would be a few different things. So, as you've probably seen, like from some of our pictures, we've been able to do more outreach. So, since we started Sightseeing with Sandy, we've worked with a now friend in Chicago. Shout out to Colleen. And thank God for Aaron putting us in touch with each other. It was just a really great relationship, just from the jump. And I've been in touch with Colleen since, but she was able to help us get placed in a domestic violence shelter for Christmas. So every kid there was able to get a book for Christmas one year. And we were really excited about that. Also, I believe that same year, actually, we did a daycare where I grew up. And I grew up in a small town called Texarkana. And the daycare that we chose, they served a lot of families that were under the federal poverty level. And so I did a fundraiser on my birthday. And I said, hey, I don't want y'all to send me nothing, like no cookies. I'll make my own cookies this year. Give me money so I can buy these kids books. And so I did it at cost because I wanted to make sure that we did what we could do for them. So we got them books and we got them Zumas, which is the travel companion to Sightseeing with Sandy. And that was just amazing because you had these adorable little Black kids that probably had never left Texarkana, for some of them for sure. And they were talking about going to Paris. They couldn't wait to go to Paris. And I was just like, that warms my heart. That's what we do that for. I want to do more philanthropic things like that because I was that kid, essentially. I grew up in a single parent home. And while my mother, she worked and everything like that, I actually had asthma. So she spent a lot of whatever extra she had on just making sure I had medicine. I was, seen properly and everything like that. But, family vacations were not, in the queue for us on a yearly, basis. So I want to be able to sponsor trips for families. So definitely there is a philanthropic arm that we're trying to create. We did establish the groundwork for the foundation earlier this year, but you know how nonprofits go. It's the building process, right? But that's my goal, to be able to do that for families. Also to just be able to enjoy my life while I have it. Like I said, I have MS and there's no blueprint for that disease. And, right now I'm on a great medication. It's called Ocrevus. But it has its drawbacks too. It really can be immunocompromising, which can suck, especially in the middle of a pandemic, right? But also, like, without it, I've been paralyzed on half the side of my body one day. Woke up, didn't have movement, and didn't have it again at full function for like 6 to 7 weeks. And so for me, I want to be in a place where, if I choose alternative methods that are not funded because of the type of medication and the type of intervention that you have to do, it's not allowed in this country. But people I've talked to that have gone to other countries and have done certain type of stem cell interventions and had MS cleared up, no progression, no medication needed. And that's what I long for because, thank God I have insurance, but $75,000 a year for medication, nobody dreams of that. So honestly, just able to make life better for others and, make life better for me so I can be a great mom to Sandy and enjoy her. That's my goal.
I want to go back because you said something. And my own experience, the first time I visited Dallas was 1999. And it was the first time I had visited anywhere. And I had been places. I had experienced people that had never left the towns they grew up with. And so my accent was like foreign to them. Like Texas was the first time I ever experienced people who had never heard someone sound different outside of like people on TV. So you saying that there are people in this town that have never left, and my friend would tell me he lived there. He said, one thing you got to realize, there are people that never left Texas, but Texas is a big state, but there are people who have never left the towns that they're from, believe it or not. Now, it was new to me. So everything you said behind what you're doing makes so much sense when you put it into context like that. But Sherry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I totally agree, and I've been there, so I definitely have experienced it. But you talk about the brilliance of your daughter, and I think she had some valid questions and some valid points on that airplane. We're not going to silence her. But how has your daughter responded to Sightseeing with Sandy as she has grown? Because she sounded grown when she started.
You know, I need to find y'all's address because one day she's going to end up on somebody's front porch. So since y'all are so fond of this attitude that this child has, I volunteer you both as tribute. She's a mess. One day I was doing something for my 9 to 5 because I still work for the government, and I had to later do some stuff for Sightseeing with Sandy. And she had finished her work because she was homeschooled through COVID. And, I still work with her during the summer now because learning is essential and fundamental, right? And so she kind of glanced over. She's like, "What you doing?" I was like, "I'm working." And she's like, "Oh, on Sightseeing with Sandy or for your other job?" I was like, "For my first job, for my 9 to 5. She's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "You really should have your own business." And I stopped and I looked and I'm like, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "Yeah, you should have your own business like I do." I'm like, "Paper airplanes?" Because there's a story behind that too. I was like, "Paper airplanes?" And she's like, "No, Sightseeing with Sandy." I was like, "No, baby." I said, "That's my business." She said, "Oh no, mommy, that's my business. It has my name in it. But what do you do?" I was like, about to throw her outside. So that was one instance. There was a second instance where I ultimately I told her I hired her. She's not really grasping the whole co-creator thing just yet, but every single book has her name on it, and I do that on purpose. I'm building a legacy, right? But I hired her to do market research. I just wanted her to look through some books and tell me what she liked about them because I wanted to make sure I'm hitting these points, in the Sightseeing with Sandy books. And so she wasn't doing that. And I had no idea up until I went back to her room when she's supposed to be working. I try to have trust. Serena can tell you, I'm not a helicopter CEO. Like, I trust you. So I'm going back because I'm thinking like by day 2, I should have some results, right? She had apparently had beef with me because I wasn't giving her money in her hand. She wanted her money in her hand. And there's a whole video on my personal Instagram, Mrs. Wise. And we had an argument about this a few months ago. So she basically was falsifying time and working on her airplane business. And the grandmothers were enabling her to be a thief of me and my time and my money because they were buying the airplanes from her pre-sale. And she made $95 in 3 days off some paper airplanes when she's supposed to be turning through some books. And so, yeah, we had it out. And I was like, "You can't work for me anymore." She said, "I quit anyway." And so that's what I'm dealing with. It hasn't changed, Sherry. She's a handful and a half. I have a whole bar back there. And
she's
I just
ready for Wall Street. She's ready for Wall Street.
Oh yeah, she is.
So she has responded very well as she has grown. I can see that. Have you expanded on the original idea, or how do you plan to expand further? Because in my mindset, I see travel guidance or travel sightseeing actual tours with adults and young people.
So that's actually something that I would love to grow into. And that comes with the philanthropic piece, just having corporations to potentially partner with us and sponsor those type of activities. But we do have a surprise, and I'm so excited to announce that with Serena here. We're actually going to be launching our book campaign this summer. And so right now we have 3 books, and I have all 3 here to show you, and a 4th one coming down the queue probably within the next week and a half. Catherine is wrapping up those illustrations now. And we've gone to the Bahamas, we've gone to Paris, we've gone to Jamaica, and then the 4th book is going to have us in North Africa, and we'll be reviewing the places of the Black kings that we don't really hear about that often and that aren't really taught in school. We were able to talk to amazing archaeologists that worked on those sites to uncover the history that, again, has been untold about the Black kings, and just learn about, them and their work and everything like that. And that's just been amazing. So just showing kids outside of the pyramids of Giza and the things that you see on TV, like really giving them a feel for what North Africa, Sudan, Antiquity, Egypt, like Nubia, Meru, Kush, like all those places, giving them an idea of what that's really like. That's been amazing. That was one of the first times we really got to immerse ourselves in the story, because we drove to Memphis a year ago, and we went to the University of Memphis's what is it? It's their museum, but I forgot what they call it. But it actually has artifacts from that time period and from that place. And it was so amazing. It was so amazing. And so, it's just been beautiful to be able to do that. Also just being so intentional with the stories. Like, I recognize that my director of marketing is a different ethnicity than I am. And I want to tell her story too. So she and her sister and some of my other good friends, they're going to be in a book that's going to be about Holy and Hola Mahala. And it's just been so fun to write and get her buy-in on. And it's just been amazing. So yeah, Jamel, I remember when we talked, we are going to Ghana. We're going to be looking at Mole National Park with the kids.
Okay.
We're going to do Costa Rica. And then I'm not sure if you all saw, but we got to participate in NASCAR's All-Star Weekend at Texas Motorsport with Jesse Ouija. So he's definitely working on us with the book as well. So it's just been fun. It's been fun.
I think I asked you about Africa when you were first on.
Yep.
But this I just want to ask Serena real quickly, because honestly, not many people will have such a fun journey like this per se. So many people like take opportunities in corporations where it's boring, but they go for status and prestige, right? You're taking like this on, and honestly, I try to get people to understand. Go with what's going to give you the best opportunity to learn, rather than the status and prestige. And I want to just get your feedback on this journey. What has it like meant for you personally, and what do you hope that you're adding to this journey of Sightseeing with Sandy?
When I look at my friends in the internships and work that they're doing for large corporations, it's so interesting. And I tell Shambrekia this all the time, but I'm literally learning a little bit of everything. I'm in charge of marketing, but I am just like able to dabble in everything. And she's so transparent with everything that's happening. So it's just been the greatest learning experience for me, because I have had so little like collegiate education so far, and I've been exposed to so little, but through this internship I've gained so much more exposure, and I feel like I'm able to add stuff, because I don't know, I feel like we're able to just work and collaborate really well together, and it's just been a really special experience for me.
Indeed, Sherry.
Awesome. And to kind of wrap it up, what do you hope people take away from Sightseeing with Sandy? Because I've taken so much thus far.
Well, honestly, the other announcement I wanted to do was, like I said, our summer box campaign. So these books will be like a Hello Fresh. So they're going to be like your entree, and we'll have side dishes, and we're not going to give it all away. Y'all got to follow us so you can find out what's going to be in them. But Serena's going to tell you her favorite part about it, but my favorite part are the postcards, because what we do, I actually will have a postcard on one side, and it'll be a scene from a book, essentially, like one of the books that we have being released, depending upon which kit you get. So, Jamel, say you want to order the Jamaica book, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the scenes from the book will be your actual image, and then on the other side it'll be laid out just like a postcard, but we'll have like a little QR code at the bottom, and you can scan that. It's called a flow code. We've been partnering with that company for about 2 years now, and it takes you to either a page that we've created or a video that we've kind of curated, and it tells you more about either what that scene is talking about, or Sandy telling you about it and why it's her favorite picture and why she picked it out. But it's still going to be bottom line educational based. So that's one of my favorite parts from the boxes. But I'm hoping that people will see the mission, will see the passion, will want to partner, will want to, sponsor, will help us buy box kits, because ultimately we do have sponsorship packages where people can buy a ton of boxes and, give them to a class, or, of course, we'll mail them out. But just, get the word out about Sightseeing with Sandy, because I really believe in what we're doing. And I didn't have the help that I had. And Serena has been amazing. And she's so amazing because she's so dependable, trustworthy. She's smart. She's ready to go out there and get it. And she takes any type of feedback that I give her well. But she's been teaching me.
All out of time. I want Serena. Like I hear you got some secrets. Come on, give us some announcements. Give us some secrets. Come on.
I can say that my favorite part of these box kits are probably the interactive flashcards. It's something I got to start working on right when I joined on with Sightseeing with Sandy. So I'm not going to give too much away, but they're really, really cool. It's something I wish I had when I was a kid. Basically, it's they have different categories, and you can learn about all these things that aren't really talked about in a classroom setting, which I find to be really important. But carrying off with that flow code, there's a flow code on the back, so you can quiz yourself, test yourself to see if you know the answer, and then flip the card around. There's a flow code, and you can just keep learning about more, if it's a video, website, just a little article, it's something of that sort. But yeah, it's really, really neat. It's probably my favorite part of it because it's something I wish I had when I was young.
Nice. We've got to wrap it up, but I do have a question from the audience. Rosalind Fame is asking, is there a way you incorporate foreign language learning in your products?
Absolutely, with those flashcards that she just mentioned. So we do that. We even do it in the back, like with the Paris book, for instance. We do have French terms in there, and we even take phrases like "what the guan," and we tell people what that means. But yeah, so absolutely, we want people to feel like they're a part of the culture.
Perfect. So now I believe Rosalind Famous teaches English to Spanish or Spanish. I know she's, what's that word? You know that word, linguistic.
Linguist.
Yes, that's the word. That's the word. Yeah, she's one of those folks. So I know. But now look, I want to say 80% of our audience is based in Bermuda. How can they get their hands on your products?
Well, right now, the first 3 books are available on Amazon. And you can order them and they'll be shipped to you whenever Jeff Bezos' team says they will be. But for the box kits, you can follow us on at Sightseeing with Sandy on Instagram, and we will definitely be updating that with more information once we decide to drop that pre-sale link. And yeah, you can follow us because Serena has made this incredible marketing campaign. So you get to learn more about us, our journey, our products, and where we're going.
All righty. And she says she's, Rosalind Famous says, I am a translator. Yeah. Oh, that's much easier than what I was trying to pronounce. But ladies, thank you so much. Honestly, it's always a pleasure. I'm glad you remembered that I said, please come back when you're ready. 2 years later, but seriously, we're here whenever we can be of assistance, not just Amazon, but even trying to get the books in the hands of Bermudian students. We have a literacy problem. We've had people from Bermuda College, we've had people from the Bermuda Reading Clinic on this show speaking about the literacy problem. So this right here is a solution to that. I appreciate what you're doing and bringing your young lady along with you. So again, stay in touch. Thank you for trusting our platform for this conversation. It's a pleasure to meet you, Serena. And folks, have a wonderful day.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, guys.
All righty, Shambrekia Wise and Serena Weigel, folks. If you appreciated that conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Yes, we love the idea as well. Rosalind, go follow them, please. They are doing good things. These are businesses that fulfill a need. We're going to take a quick break. Yeah. Come back. I guess we're going to do a giveaway. And also, well, it's Sherry time. You know what that means.
Sherry.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, There's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Welcome back, Sherry Vanderpool, myself, Jamel Hartman. Thanks again to One Communications, People's Pharmacy, Medical House, Lindos, and thanks again to Shambrekia and Serena for coming on this morning. If you appreciated that conversation, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share. Let's get behind this. I love the idea as well, Sherry. I do.
Yeah, it's super cute.
Yeah, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Sherry, are you ready?
What is it? Name a place?
Name that place. Yep. That means you're ready. Decide.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Katora Horton, parent chief, became the first Black woman to compete in diving at the Olympics in 2004. What country did these Olympics take place?
Australia or China? Australia? China? Dang it, Tahootin. Is she laughing at me again?
I gave you the answer on Tuesday.
I know. Is it China?
That
No,
one,
it's not.
one day streak didn't last long.
Athens.
Yep.
All right, Auntie S.
Yep.
I knew it was a trick, but it wasn't a trick.
Yeah.
That what's her name? The three names just really got at me this week.
Yeah.
Couture?
KHP getting you. Look,
Yeah.
final thoughts on today's show. Work from home, being paid to help pay your bills, and obviously the conversation with Shambrekia.
I think it's all, a balance. I do think, an allowance at times is not a bad idea, but does it have to be? I'm okay with it not being thus far. As far as Shambrekia, I love this whole concept, and her daughter is definitely, a clone of Jamal, which makes it just even, funny. And she's everything, height, mouth, everything. I'm sure it's the same.
Really.
But no, it's a great concept. It's definitely, an answer to people that can't travel and being able to at least, envision themselves being there or wanting to go there eventually. So I love it.
Folks, also hashtag for today's giveaway, the Daily Hour. So hashtag the Daily Hour. We'll run that after I finish. But as far as people and remote work goes, I do think allowance should be considered if it's something that's enforced. If it's by choice or something you've wanted, then that company is well within their rights to do what they feel is in their best interest. But also understanding the need to keep their employees happy. Hashtag the Daily Hour for today's giveaway. Now, the other thing I want to say about Shambrekia is I absolutely love how she explained her daughter about working for others. Hey, look, my challenging nature, folks. At the end of the day, everyone can't tolerate people like me. And that's, entrepreneurs are driven towards entrepreneurship, not just because they want to work for themselves, but because they have challenging personalities. They have no filters, hence Jamal Hartman Unfiltered. But I absolutely love that her mother is not trying to change her, but embracing it, but educating her in the process. I just love everything about this. She was very transparent and open with us about her diagnosis, and I think that's inspired her, to use that to push on and give her daughter and others a better chance at being something and experiencing things that are not normal within our space. I'll never forget when I went to school in Rhode Island, that airplane to Rhode Island was full. I was the only Black person. I never went to visit the college I was going. And that was the first time, and I traveled a lot when I was young, the first time I had ever been on an airplane with all white people, like not one Black person. And I was like, where am I going? I didn't visit the college. Is this like the whitest place ever? And I was coming from Huntsville, Alabama. It does make you think. And so we weren't travelers like that. We collectively we were not. When I became an adult, I realized other adults in my neighborhood had never left Bermuda. That's insane. It was insane to me at the time that 21 square miles big, you had never been on an airplane. That was crazy to me. And you understand your privilege at the same time, right? So I appreciate it. I think she's doing some great things. I really hope that this keeps growing and growing and growing. Let's do that giveaway, Sherry, because they out there trying to get a little mug or something today. Let's see who's going to be in the winner.
I need a backup cup.
Well, you shouldn't break your gifts. I mean, treating things the way you do. I don't know.
It's all put back together now.
Let's see what we got. Let's hit that draw. Let's hit that draw. Oh, drum roll, please.
Come on, big money, big money. Oh, I saw you, Marcy.
Shawnette Bell, you get yourself a travel mug. Congratulations, Shawnette. You know what to do. Man, Rosalind Famous. It's like you're always just right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's right there. Shawnette Bell, please send us an email, engage@thedailyhour.com, so that you can collect your winnings. Sherry, you got some daily inspiration for us before we head out?
I do. Dedicate yourself to the good you deserve and desire for yourself. Give yourself peace of mind. You deserve to be happy. You deserve delight. And that's from Mark Victor Henson.
I like that one. Well, Sherry, we've got a big show tomorrow, too. We have the U.S. Consulate to Bermuda coming on the show tomorrow. So I know you all have a lot of questions. I know Bermudians are having some travel issues with the new passport, not having the Bermuda code, but the British code. If you've got questions for the U.S. Consulate, this is your chance. She is coming to engage with all of you. Thanks again to our partners, Medical Wells, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, make it a safe and great day. I don't have my mug this morning because I'm juicing, and so I've got to go get my second one. So, Sherry, show off.
You need to put your juice in your mug. I have cold coffee in here.
See, it just won't feel the same. I'll check you tomorrow with your broken handle. Peace.